So gratitude cultivates joy. Joy cultivates gratitude. And the reason I was thinking about it this week is a few weeks ago, I had applied for a promotion at work, and I got some good news this week. I got some good news about it this week, and I instantly, for the rest of my shift that I was working, I felt so light and joyful, and I just, enough so that I noticed, and I was joyful because I got what I wanted. I got what I worked really hard for. I don't know if you recall that class, we talked about bravery and being brave, and I think that kind of leads into these things. Taking that risk, jumping in, and in that, can you, cultivate some gratitude for those actions? So all of that to say that it was this kind of, at least for me, I rarely take the time to kind of, throughout my day, focus on those little moments of joy, focus on like my, that shift in my attitude. And so to notice it so glaringly was wonderful. And so it just made me think about it for the rest of the week of, wow, okay, where else can I notice these little moments of joy? Where else can I notice when I'm feeling that? And through that, noticing, I'm cultivating more of it. I'm cultivating gratitude for those things. And then through that, I'm cultivating even more joy because I'm so grateful and just noticing these things. So all that to just be an invitation to find little pockets of joy in your practice. Hopefully, I don't have to ask you to do that. You already do that. Otherwise, you wouldn't show up. But in your practice today, in the rest of the day, maybe this week, can you notice maybe that subtle shift of when something, it can be something, it doesn't have to be something big, like good news. It can just be, right before I noticed a rainbow outside and that brought a smile to my face. And so from there, how do you kind of cultivate on that? You say, wow, okay, I feel really good in this moment. How do I kind of keep carrying this with me throughout the day? On that note, close the eyes here, or just a gentle downward gaze, whatever's more comfortable for you. Take a deep breath in here, maybe sitting up a little bit taller. And then just let that breath go. With that letting go, can you let go of anything else you're holding on to here? You don't have to be in a spot of joy, a spot of gratitude. You can be feeling whatever is showing up for you, but can you be there? Can you let go of anything you don't need for the next hour or so? My other invitation to you right now in our centering practice is, what are you grateful for? We don't just have to wait till November to ask ourselves what we're grateful for. So in this moment of just calm here and presence, maybe something comes to mind. And you could just be grateful that you showed up today. I am grateful that you all showed up today. And just sit with that for a few more breaths here. Allowing the breath to get a little bit deeper, get a little bit more pronounced. And when you're ready, gently blinking open the eyes, can you soften the shoulders? Bring the hands to the knees or maybe the tops of the thighs. And we'll start to just do some circles with the body. And they can be as small or as big as is in your body today. We're just waking up. Might not have a lot of movement, and that's fine. And that's okay. So breathing nice and slow here, nice and mindful. And at some point here, let's take it in the other direction. Maybe start to bring the shoulders into it here. Just kind of find what feels good for you. And today we're getting into the hips and stretching out the sides. And as I was saying before some of you showed up, you're just gonna take it wherever you are today, however the pace is for you, whatever the pose needs to look like, you can be there. All right, we'll come back to center. And we'll start to take some seated cat-cow here. So really drawing the shoulders down the back, even drawing the shoulder blades towards each other. Opening up the heart here. On an inhale, maybe you even start to draw the chest forward as you draw the elbows and the shoulders back. You can lift the chin, and on your exhale, take it all back through that center. Tuck the chin, tuck the ribs here. Press the hands away. Inhale draws you forward. And then your exhale takes you back. Moving with your breath here. Whatever pace that's at today. Being grateful for this body that we're in. Being grateful for this practice, this ability to even be here right now. Taking 2 more rounds of breath. And then next time you come through center, we'll pause there. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way up towards the sky. So if you can reach through those fingers, keep the shoulders down the back here. So we're not lifting up so high, drawing the shoulders back. Keep that left hand lifting, drop the right hand down to your side. Keep reaching through that left hand and then take it over into a side stretch here. Can you really root down through the left sit bone? Take as much of a bend in that right elbow as you need here. You can have the hand up on a block even. Really just about finding and keeping that length on the left side as we start to draw those right ribs down. Inhale, sweep the right arm all the way back up. Reach now through that right arm, place those shoulders down, and then drop that left hand. Keep this lift and this reach in the right arm as you start to take it over towards the left, drawing left ribs towards the floor here, but still really pressing down into that right sit bone. Inhale, reach the left arm all the way back up. Exhale, drop the hands at the sides here. You can remove whatever you're sitting on if you are sitting on anything. Take the feet as wide as the mat. Take the hands behind you. However's comfortable, whether it's fingers out to the side, fingers behind you, not so much important. Just take those feet as wide as the mat and then start to take the knees from side to side. And just like everything in these classes and this practice, you kind of gauge where you're at today personally. So maybe this is as far as you go, or just a little bit of a shift. Maybe you start to bring the hips into it here and take the knees down to the sides, lifting up the opposite hip. Just noticing whatever you need. Like I said, we're going to get into the hips today. So whatever little bit of warm up you can get here. And the next time you come through center, we'll pause. Keep those feet wide. Take the knees over to the right. You can hike up this left butt, this left hip, and we'll take the feet to about 40 degrees or 90 degrees. Wow, I don't even know what 40 degrees would be. So nice kind of, your left thigh is going to be parallel to your right shin here. And if you're not quite there, you can kind of bring this left foot in behind you. So it's kind of an alternative to pigeon pose here as well, this double 90 degrees. And you're facing the front shin, wherever that is on your mat. You can stay here, this could be enough, or take an inhale, lengthen through the spine. Maybe you start to twist towards the right a little bit here. Bring that left hand to the top of the left knee. Find the twist in the ribs. Yes, and perfect. You can use some props here. You can prop up the knees with a blanket or a bolster. Stay here, stay with the breath. Even in these stagnant poses, even when we're just kind of still here and the mind really has space to wander, can you bring it back to that idea of what am I grateful for? Where am I finding joy here? What am I cultivating? Inhale brings you back through center, and we'll take it over to the left. So you can kind of just shift everything over to the left here, adjust your legs and your feet as you need to. Sitting up nice and tall, left hand can be on a block here, left hand can be on the floor. Maybe on an exhale, you take a twist to the left. Setting that breath down into the low belly. Flexing those feet. And still sitting nice and tall. Inhale brings you back to center. We'll make our way into a tabletop. This is where knees come in. So if you want to lay a blanket across the mat, now's your time. And we'll meet in tabletop. Wrists under shoulders. Knees under hips here. Fingers are spread nice and wide. And from here, finding some movement, maybe a traditional cat-cow, maybe a little bit of a twist here in the ribs, whatever you need. So taking a few rounds of breath here to kind of explore and just get into the body, noticing where you're at. Flowing with the breath here if you can. Just allowing that breath to kind of guide the movements. Taking a few more rounds. And when you're ready, we'll come back to that neutral spine in tabletop, pressing hands down away from the floor here, allowing for a little bit of expansion across the back here, across the shoulder blades. Extend that right leg behind you. Reaching through the heel, toes are tucked in on the floor here. You're gonna find a little bit of a pulse if that's what you need, kind of easing into the stretch. And then start to walk left fingertips up towards the top corner of the mat here. On an inhale, lift that right leg, lift that left arm. Feel that belly engage here. Be grateful for the strength of your body in these poses. Strength of your mind to even stay here. You can stay here. This is a lot of work. Or we can bring it into the hips. We'll take an inhale, lengthen, and on your exhale, right knee comes towards that right elbow as you draw this left hand, left arm in here towards those left ribs. Inhale, extend nice and long. Exhale, draw it in towards center, right knee towards right elbow. Inhale, extend. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale, extend. Exhale, draw it in. We'll do one more. Inhale, extend. Nice, strong right arm here. Exhale, bring it in. You're lifting up towards that center, hugging that knee kind of towards the elbow. And then you can release the left hand, extend that right leg out to the side. And we'll lift up onto the knee. So where are we going from here? So right leg is extended, and I'll turn to face you. Setting up for that gate pose, we're not coming into gate, we're actually taking this left hand down here and coming into that kind of modified side plank. So opening up the front of the body here, maybe that right arm lifts. Maybe you reach it forward. Maybe, if you want, you can lift that right foot off the ground here. Key thing is more finding that length in the entire right side body here. So instead of kind of collapsing this right shoulder, opening up the front of the chest, reaching along through those fingertips. And in that extension, maybe it just naturally lifts that right foot. Big inhale here. Exhale, come back to your tabletop. Extend left leg behind you. Tucking those toes. Maybe finding that pulse. Enjoying this little stretch here. Noticing anything else that's happening in the body. Again, maybe that kind of engagement of the low belly here. The pressing of the hands, the fingertips. Always kind of bringing the awareness back to whatever's going on here, any sensations. Start to walk those right fingertips up towards the top of the mat. And on an inhale, lift the arm, lift the leg. Keep sending energy through that left heel. Notice what's engaging here. Notice what might have tightened. Can you soften into those tight spots? Can you soften the shoulders? Soften the belly? Inhale, lengthen. Maybe you stay here. You don't have to go for the next step. Exhale, left knee to left elbow. Draw that right elbow in. Inhale, extend. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale, extend. We'll do 3 more. Exhale, left knee, left elbow. 2 more, just like that. Place that right hand down, extend that left leg out to the side. Come up onto the knee here. Ooh, and maybe if you've got a little bit of a wonky left hip, you can bring that left knee down and bring it back out. That happens to me sometimes on one side. Planting down through that left foot. Turn again here. Taking right hand down to the ground. Inhale, extend nice and long here. So you can almost find that sweep, extending as you sweep the arm maybe towards the front of the mat. Opening up the front of the body here. Opening up that left shoulder. Maybe you reach so much that that left leg lifts. Staying here for the inhale. Exhale, tabletop position. From there, coming to stand on the knees. Take the hands here down to the hips, kind of pressing those hips down so that you can lengthen out the top of the body. Soften the shoulders. You can have toes tucked or untucked here, it doesn't really matter, whatever feels a little bit more stable for you. And then on an inhale, sweep the arms up towards the sky. Take the cactus arms here, elbows in line with the shoulders. Arms are nice and wide. Maybe you start to shrug those elbows back, drawing shoulder blades towards each other, opening up the front of the body. Perhaps the gaze lifts. Perhaps you start to come into a bit of a back bend. We're not taking camel, we did that last week. We're good on that pose for a little bit. But think about that same action, that same energy we talked about last week. We're lifting up out of those hips, and in that lift and in that length, starting to really take the top of the body back here. Exhale, release the hands down, relax those shoulders. So you're still staying on the knees. We're coming into a moving lunge. Give yourself a little space, so kind of walk yourself closer towards the back of the mat here, and I'll show you what that looks like. And if it's a lot for you, you can also just stay in lunge on the right side. So inhale, find that length. Exhale, step right foot forward. You have blocks here. You have something to land on. Blocks, maybe hands reach the mat. From there, take that left leg back, and then we'll step the left leg forward. So just kind of moving this way. And again, using blocks, if you'd like to, for a little more stability. Or if this is a lot, you can just stay on the right knee. Stay in that lunge, be there for a few breaths, and then take it to the left side. Otherwise, kind of this moving, this walking lunge, slowly bringing some energy into those hips. If the hands aren't going to blocks, you can take hands to heart center here, maybe hands to the hips, whatever feels, again, stable for you here. And instead of just kind of rushing in and out of it, can you bring some mindfulness? Really notice that heel, notice the ball, the foot coming down, then drawing those hips back. There's a little bit of a circling of the foot back, so you'll kind of feel that in the hip a little bit. And then take this at your pace. We'll do 3 more each side here. That's 2. If you lose your balance, totally fine. Just come back. For me, this is the last one on the last side. Next time you have right foot forward, keep that foot there. Awesome. Feeling a little warmer, feeling a little more open here. This is where, I never bring my blocks. If you've got a block, we're coming into that side lunge, so you might want to block out to the right side of the mat. Otherwise, you can reach those fingers to the ground to do that. We'll inhale, lengthen through the left side here. Keep lengthening through the left side, just like we did when we were seated, kind of dragging those right ribs down towards the floor here as we open up on the left side. So coming into this, yeah, perfect. Side stretch lunge. Again here, focusing on still dragging this left shoulder back so we're not slouching in here, we're finding that stretch in left side. Inhale lifts you up, take hands to the inside of that right leg as you extend nice and long through this right leg. So straighten that leg best you can still keep a slight bend in that knee here, just like that. And then keep sending energy through the ball of the right foot. Keep sending energy through the crown of the head. And maybe you start to fold inside that leg, just a touch here. Beautiful. Keep breathing into the low belly. Inhale here. On your exhale, bending into that right knee and walk that foot out. We're coming right into our lizard here. So wherever you are in this pose today, whether it's hands on blocks, elbows to blocks, elbows to the mat, maybe you're just hands to the mat. It's usually my preferred lizard of choice. Right toes point towards the top right corner of the mat. You're squeezing that right knee in towards the right arm here. Maybe, we'll see if I can do this. I just want to give you all some offerings depending on where you are today. Maybe you bend this left knee and reach this right arm around and grab the top of that left foot. Big maybe, don't need to do it. Just giving you some stuff to work with here. And then you can find some shoulder opening here by pressing the foot into the hand, or you find some hip opening by dragging the butt back towards that foot and then starting to drag it all back towards the front here as you open up. Again, big maybe, just be wherever you are here. We don't need to have that back foot. If you have the back foot, gently release it. If you're down on elbows, come up onto the hands. We'll find a little bit more opening here on this right side. So right hand comes to the right knee, and moving everything in one line here, start to open up that knee to the right. We're lifting the toes. We're just on the pinky side of that right foot. Beautiful. I mean, depending on how flexible and however you're feeling today, you could be down on this left elbow as well. I'm not going to demonstrate, but if that's in your practice, feel free to take it. Inhaling here, can you soften into those hips? So even as this mind wants to wander, maybe you're wandering to like, oh man, this feels like a lot. Or, I'm not gonna speculate as to where your mind is going, but can you bring it back to those sensations, good or bad? And can you just find some presence here? All right. You can bring that right foot back down, start to heel toe the leg back in and come back to standing on the knees. Let's even it out. We'll step that left foot forward. We're done with the moving lunge. We're just doing this left side. And from here, sitting up. Again, maybe you have a block out to the left here, coming into that side lunge. So sitting nice and deep here into this left knee. Left hand comes down, right arm reaches up and over, right shoulder is open, shoulder blade drawing down the back here. Those hips might shift ever so slightly to the right. You come back to the breath. Come back to the sensation of just being. Big breath in here. On your exhale, bring the hands to the inside of that leg and extend, straighten as much as you can here through this left leg, bringing it into this half split variation. Sending some energy through the ball of that left foot. You can be up on blocks here again. You can be on fingertips. Maybe you really start to bring and fold inside that leg, walking fingers out towards the top right corner. One more inhale here. And on your exhale, bending into that left knee, finding your lizard lunge. So opening up here, walking that foot out to the top left corner. And again, finding your version, and it can be totally different from the other side. Maybe invitation here to bend that right knee. Take that left arm behind you. Left arm grabs the top of that right foot. And you can work on the shoulder stretch here. So rolling that left shoulder back, pressing foot into the hand, or work on a little bit of both, dragging that butt back to the heel, and then starting to keep that heel with you as you drag all that back to the front. Which gets a little bit more into that thigh. This is where I should have mentioned on the other side, if you had a strap would be useful here as well. You could strap up the foot and work on the same exact thing here. Keep breathing. You got the hands and the foot, release that foot ever so gently here. Take the hand back to the inside. If you're on your elbows, come up onto the hands, and then we'll take that open kind of left hand to left knee, open up onto the pinky side of that left foot here. And maybe you find a little bit of a twist in this. Still keeping length in the spine. Always thinking about getting taller. All right, releasing left hand, releasing left foot. Send left knee back here. Come back to standing on the knees. And then we'll inhale, sweep your arms all the way up here. Grab that left wrist with the right hand. Turn here. Inhale, stretch those arms up, soften the shoulders. Exhale, take it over to the right. And you can take knees a little bit wider here for a little more stability too, whatever you need. Inhale, brings you back through center. Grab the opposite hand, so right hand. Again, stretching up nice and tall here. And then exhale over to the left. Almost done with the stuff on the knees for now, I promise. Inhale, lift you back up. Take the butt back towards the feet here, so you're sitting back. Hands come behind you. Plant those hands, maybe fingers point out to the sides. Again, maybe they point behind you. Totally up to what works for your wrists. Show you from here. And then on an inhale, pressing down into the tops of the shins here, lift those hips. So it's kind of like a bridge pose, but we've got the legs tucked underneath us here. So opening up the heart, can you shrug those shoulder blades towards each other here? You might feel this in the thighs. You might feel this in the upper back here. And can you release the head a little bit here? Relax that neck. Here for one more breath. And on the exhale, release those hips. Come into a child's pose. Knees go wide, toes come to touch. Extend those hands nice and long here. Think about lengthening through the spine, so sending the butt, sending the sit bones down towards the heels. If this is a lot in the shoulders, you can also just take those hands around the sides here and reach for the heels. Taking a few breaths in your child's pose, coming back to yourself, coming back to whatever you might have been grateful for at the beginning of class, if that's still valid. Finding the joy in these little moments. Noticing how that joy shows up in your body. It's a softening of the face, a softening of the heart. And when you're ready, pressing yourself up. We'll meet in downward facing dog. If down dog is not in your practice, feel free to come to tabletop or some variation thereof. Otherwise, we'll meet in down dog. Feel free to take any little movement here that you need before you come to some stillness. Finding stillness wherever you're at, whether it's on the knees or in down dog. And then inhale, lift that right leg high here. First, keeping hips level or keeping the, sending the toes facing down towards the earth here. And then bending that right leg, opening that right hip. Notice if there's a shift in the shoulders, can you draw the shoulders back to level? And just focus on opening that hip here. Coming back to your breath. Inhale here. On the exhale, square those hips once more. So extending through that leg, toes point down. Inhaling here. On the exhale, rolling forward, right knee to right elbow. Inhale, extend it back. One more just like that. On the exhale, right knee to right elbow. Inhale, extend it back. This time on the exhale, knee to chest. See if you can hover here. Find some energy, maybe a little bit more lift. And then we'll bring right foot down between the hands. Take left heel down, open up, warrior one. Left toes point towards the top left corner of the mat. Right knee faces forward. We're settling into the hips here. And you can take, a few tries to kind of get in there, just allowing this hip to open up. We're kind of shifting this left butt back, allowing for this external rotation on the left side here. Hips are probably facing towards the top left corner of the mat. And then we'll bring the hands to heart center and turn to face the front of the mat. There's like a little bit of a twist happening in this pose, right? We want to try to keep this left heel rooted so that we're not just bringing this left hip kind of in front. But if this is really uncomfortable for you, you can also just be in a lunge here with that left heel up. Just a different pose. You can stay here with hands at heart center. Maybe you inhale, sweep the arms up, taking a full warrior one here. If you're here, can you soften the shoulders? Invitation to look for joy here in this pose, whatever that means for you. So maybe that means hiking up that left heel. Maybe that means taking a variation of the arms. Maybe it means coming into a slight back bend or finding a little bit of a flow with the arms. You've got a few rounds of breath here. You can also just stay and be here, but I invite you to play. Find that feel good thing here. Big breath in, can you lengthen? On that exhale, left hand comes down, left heel hikes up, come into a lunge twist. Right arm reaches towards the sky. Beautiful. Send energy through that left heel. Keep squeezing the thighs together here. So even though we're bending into this right knee, we're also drawing this right hip back. Inhale, lengthen through that right arm. Exhale, take it down to frame the foot. Straighten out this right leg as much as you can. We're in like a long pyramid pose here. So left heel is lifted. Try to root down through the ball of that right foot here. And again, you can have a slight bend in this right knee here. You can have hands on blocks for this. You find some lengthening in the entire torso here, entire upper body, lengthening through the head. And then just, if you want, you can come into a fold, leading with the heart here. So heart towards shin. From our hamstring stretch here, coming into standing split. So think about, you can kind of walk the fingertips up, or maybe you launch yourself forward, kick that left leg up, hands find blocks or the floor here, toes point down, hips are square. Send some energy through that left heel, send energy up the crown of the head here, nice and long. And then we're bringing it into the right hand, opening up here, half moon. So opening up this left hip, still sending energy through that left heel. Now those toes point towards the left side of the mat. Right hand on the floor, on the block. Maybe you work on your balance here. Maybe that makes you fall. And you work your way right back up. Left hand, wherever you want here. Maybe at heart center, maybe at that shoulder, maybe it extends up towards the top. Still squeezing thighs together, even as we're opening. From here, best you can, as gracefully as you can, start to come to standing, and we'll take left knee bent. So we're standing on the right foot here. Left knee bent, left hand to that left knee. Yes, wonderful. Inhale here. I know it's a lot on that right leg. We're almost done. Exhale, we open up that left leg to the side. See if you can keep hips level as you do this here. So we're not hiking up this left leg. We are really just opening it up here. And you're at home, right? So you've got things around you. Maybe you grab the wall. Maybe you grab a chair. Coming back to the breath. Coming back to focus, coming back to center. And then release that left foot. Let's vinyasa. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way up. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift, nice long spine. Exhale, plant the hands, step or hop back to a plank pose here. Knees can be down. Inhale, find that length. Exhale, either chaturanga or knees, chest and chin. Squeeze those elbows in towards the ribs. Inhale draws you forward, shoulders come down the back. Exhale, downward facing dog, or whatever you need here for yourself. And let's get into the left side here. So inhale, lift that left leg. Keep hips square, keep foot, put toes pointing down towards the earth. Squeeze those thighs. And then bend that left knee, open up that hip. Notice what happens in the shoulders. Can you adjust? Twice on the left side here, coming up. So re-square those hips, extend through that left leg. Inhale here. Exhale, left knee, left elbow. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, left knee, left elbow. Inhale, back. This time on the exhale, knee to chest. See if you can lift, lift, lift. Step that left foot forward. Take that right heel down. Warrior one. Whew. And again, you can kind of ease your way into this left hip here. Right toes point towards the top right corner of the mat. Once you finally kind of get settled here, left knee points forward, hips point towards the top right corner. Hands to heart center. Turn to face the front of the mat. Notice what happens. Can you keep that base nice and stable? Maybe you inhale, lift the arms. Keep those shoulders down the back here. Maybe you sit a little bit deeper. Maybe you find some play, find some joy, you know, whatever you need here. Inhale, nice and long. Exhale, right arm comes down, right heel hikes up, left arm lifts. Find the twist. See that opening up this left shoulder. Left hand comes down, straighten that left leg best you can. Send energy through the ball of the left foot. Send energy through that right heel. And if you want here, you can fold. Just being mindful to keep the length in the spine here. Leading with the heart. Coming back to the breath. Coming back to this gratitude for just being here. And then whether you kind of hop your way forward or launch yourself forward, standing split, right leg lifted. Hands can be on blocks. Squeeze those thighs towards each other, point those right toes down towards the ground. Press deeply into the ball of the right foot here, every part of that right foot. As we bring the weight into the left hand, it's not even really bringing the weight, it's just shifting a little bit of that onto the left side and opening up towards the right here. So right toes point towards the right side of the mat. Right hand can be at heart center, maybe on the shoulder, maybe lifted. Maybe you work with finding the balance here on that left leg. That can be your moment of joy in this practice. Oh my God, I did it, right? And then you fall out of it and it's okay, you had that. Be grateful for that. Right, so that can be your gratitude in the practice, is when you notice a shift in your own practice from here. Keeping your focus, keeping your gaze, coming to standing on that left leg, right knee, right hand. Allow yourself to settle here, come back to the breath, find something to gaze at. And then open up to the right. Left hand on left hip, maybe extend it out to the side here. Can you keep pressing down through every part of that right foot? One more breath here. Wow, this side is difficult for me. And exhale, release. Let's vinyasa one last time here. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, find your plank. Nice length here on the inhale. Exhale, take it down however you want. Inhale, lifts you up. Soft shoulders here. And exhale, either down dog or tabletop. Take as many breaths as you need in your down dog here, and then we will meet in child's pose. And actually, you might want to set yourself up with that blanket if you moved it, because we're coming into frog pose, and you might be grateful for that blanket. So first, blanket, then child's pose. So think about extending those hips back towards the heels. You can extend the arms along here, draw the heart down between the knees, drop the head. And then, I don't think we've ever done, I don't think I've ever taught a full frog. We usually do the half frog. So full frog is not in your practice. If this is when you feel a lot intense in the hips, you can also just take one knee up at a time. But we should be okay here. You can also stay in child's pose. From your child's pose, maybe coming up onto elbows or coming up onto the hands, you'll start to take the knees a little bit wider here. This is where that blanket helps. Take a flex in the feet. So feet point towards the sides of the mat. You've got feet flexed. Knees are wide. Let me actually turn to face you here. So knees will be wide. Feet flexed. And then you can start to come down, maybe on the blocks, maybe on the elbows. You can totally be with the hips up here if this is a lot for you. If you want more, you just start to take those hips back, like you're coming into a child's pose. It's just that your legs are nice and wide here. So hopefully you can see and you can gauge for yourself where you want to be in this today. And like I said, if this is too much, there is no shame in doing something else. You can come back to a child's pose. You can come to your back. That's where we're headed after this. Or you can take this deeper. You can take this as deep as you want here. Maybe even taking that chest down and taking those hips back closer towards the back of the mat. So you just find your version. You could also stick a bolster underneath the body here. I'm just trying to think of other options that are a little gentler. Bolsters and pillows. Coming back to the breath. Deep hip opener here, so it's okay if something comes up. Let's try to come back to that breath. And then when you're ready, starting to bring those feet in closer towards the body. You can come up on the hands here. Maybe tuck the toes. Bring those knees in and make your way onto your back. Just being gentle, being careful here. Once you're on your back, hugging knees into the chest. Taking whatever you need here. And eventually extending those legs nice and long here. We'll take a side stretch. So right foot, bottom right corner of the mat, cross that left foot over top of it, extend the arms long here and reach the arms towards the top right corner of the mat here. So you're kind of making a C shape with the body. You're reaching right ribs towards the right hip here. Lengthen through the legs, lengthen through the arms. And then come back to center. We'll take it to the other side. So left foot goes out a little bit wider, right foot crosses over top, and then you'll take the arms over to the left side of the mat. Inhale, back through center and finding your Shavasana. So of course, feel free to take any final poses your body might be craving here. And feel free to take any Shavasana that you need, whether it's your traditional corpse pose, whether it's seated or maybe legs up the wall, anything that you need. Get yourself cozy, maybe propping a bolster, some pillows underneath the knees here. Allowing your body to soften once you get settled. Coming back to this idea of gratitude and joy. Maybe your joy is just that we've come to the end of class and we're now resting. I'm staying here for another minute or so. Noticing anywhere else that you can soften here. Slowly begin to bring some awareness back into the body, finding gentle movements in the body. Maybe wiggling the fingers and toes. Bringing some movement back to the face. And when you're ready, gently bending the knees and rolling over onto one side. Pausing there. And taking this last moment here to thank yourself and be grateful for taking time out of your day to connect with your breath and with your body. And then when you're ready, gently propping yourself up to a comfortable seat. We will meet with heavy eyelids and hands anywhere that make you feel connected here to yourself, to the rest of the world. Tucking the chin, bowing the head. Thank you all so much for showing up today. The light within me honors and celebrates the light that shines so brightly inside each and every single one of you. Namaste.